So, you remember way back at the beginning of the game when this guy at the Citadel asked us to find his brother who got lost in space on a merchant freighter, and
No,
we
not at
promised
all.
to find him? Well, 47 parts in, I'm going to actually do that now. So yeah.
Better late than never, we suppose. I don't think there's anything left of the corpse, though.
Hey, if we catch Saren, why don't we just let's just kill him, eh?
Didn't we already go through this talk with the whole Dr. Salion thing?
Yeah, but I was hoping you forget.
Yes, ma'am. You can count on.
Anyway, I don't need to kill Saren. He's gonna kill himself for me.
Can I ask you something, Commander?
No, I can't be court-martialed for it.
Are you?
Well, actually,
I mean,
Shepard can't be court-martialed for anything.
back to the Citadel, and they
When you're Space 007, like, you gotta make your own rules.
I mean,
I'm
Shepard,
invincible!
Shepard totally does get court-martialed later in the series, but it's while you're potentially not a Spectre, and the circumstances are totally understandable in that case. And it's also a totally missed opportunity because they wound up cutting the actual trial from the story. Ugh. Basically, you have to blow up a planet in a DLC mission in Mass Effect 2, and at the beginning of Mass Effect 3, you're on trial for this. But first they made... well, you're on trial for that and other things, I should say, because you might not even have been the one to blow up that planet, depending on whether or not you did the DLC. Someone blew it up, but it's just a random group of Marines if you didn't do the DLC. That's actually kind of an infuriating thing Mass Effect 3 does a lot, whereas like if you didn't have the DLC for Mass Effect 2, you don't get an alternate version of events where you didn't do the thing. Someone else just does it for you, and things turn out slightly worse, like more people die, but the thing still happens. Liara still gets the Shadow Broker. She just takes a random group of mercs, everyone dies, and she doesn't manage to rescue the person she was trying to rescue. But she still beats the Shadow Broker, and that's important. Oh well.
Aren't you at all worried about what will happen to the Krogan?
It's, I don't know, like, couldn't they handle it the same way that you handled the other games handled specific side quests if you chose not to do it, though? Like, yeah, I don't know. When you're playing them, how plot important are the DLC stuff for Mass Effect 2? I guess.
They are plot important. Like, Liara is a recruitable party member in Mass Effect 3, and Lara of the Shadow Broker explains how she got where she is when you meet her in that game, and what she's doing, and what her role in that game is. Lara of the Shadow Broker is basically a setup for what Liara is doing in Mass Effect 3. So, it had to happen. At least the way they wrote it, it had to happen. And the Arrival DLC is not particularly plot important. In fact, everything involving it just sort of happens off screen as far as Mass Effect 3 is concerned. And you would have been arrested, court-martialed, whatever, anyway. It's just that they kind of handled the variables in a really bland way. Like, okay, some random group of Marines was sent in by Admiral Hackett instead because you didn't pay $7 to get the goddamn Arrival DLC. And they all died doing what you would have done anyway because you didn't have the game didn't present you a choice when you actually did do the DLC. I'm not a fan of Arrival. I'm not gonna lie.
So you could say that the game's putting you on trial for not paying extra money, then. Honestly.
Yeah, well, there is a legitimate reason that they would court-martial you, or at least have you in lockup for a little while they tried to figure out what to do about it. But there was supposed to be a trial sequence at the beginning of Mass Effect 3, and they wound up cutting it out. So the entire opening sequence plays like there's a trial sequence that should be there but was cut out.
There wasn't enough time to put the carnival sequence at the start.
Oh, man. Well, In this scenario, the entire trilogy would have been the carnival sequence, and the trial would have just been judging your choices across the first 2 games.
That's a really long carnival.
I have no idea why they didn't go through with it. I don't know. I guess they just wanted the beginning to start off faster.
That's
the
my
enti-
idea.
Yeah, but the entire defense committee opening just makes the military of Earth look like a bunch of goobers, you know? It's kind of like, okay, now I understand why we need this one badass to save the galaxy for us. These people are fucking idiots. It's like, if anyone whoever was part of any military in the world ever booted up Mass Effect 3 and sat through that opening sequence, I'm pretty sure they would cringe through the floor and pop out in the ground of the country on the opposite side of the planet from them. So if anyone has ever shown up somewhere randomly in China, just popped out of the ground, it's because they were playing Mass Effect 3 before they made the tunnel. Yeah. That's how bad it is. Ugh. You know what Mass Effect 3 needs? An extended cut for the beginning. That's what it needs. An extended cut for everything. An extended cut to tell us why the fuck we should care about Kai Leng.
So it needs a Mass Effect 3 too.
I wouldn't say no to it at this point.
Where all the crew become J-pop singers.
Oh, man.
Commander Shepard, we have this thing called the dress sphere.
Hey, you know what?
What can I do for you?
Getting everybody's Commander Shepard into different fetish outfits, honestly, I'd go for it.
Oh, man. Anyway, yeah. The merchant freighter, we found it drifting through space, but you don't actually board a ship this time. You just analyze the ship to find that there's a trail of exhaust leading to this planet, so you follow that trail, and you find yourself a bunch of pirates. Pirates who have stolen turrets from the Alliance, apparently, because we're fighting Alliance turrets. I'm assuming that's just because they're the same turrets from the moon, but they're listed as Alliance heavy turrets, so there it is. I like how they have snipers sitting out their base who are just shooting at the tank, and it works. Their snipers can take down your tank pretty badly, if you let them. Ugh.
Quit missing. You have a cannon.
I'm not missing. It's just a weird angle to shoot from.
That means you're missing. If you're not
No,
hitting
if
the target.
if I can't hit them with the gun, I can't hit them with the cannon either.
Still means you're missing.
The cannon fires from the same barrel. If the gun overshoots, then so will the cannon.
Well, wouldn't the cannon technically be affected more by gravity, and so you could, like, kind of arc it?
No, that is not the case.
It's a straight line.
Yeah, the cannon is a straight line cannon. Yeah, it fires just a really big bullet with its mass accelerator. Essentially.
Okay.
It's like you have a machine gun and a magnum that both fire from the same barrel. Is how it feels like, anyway. Oh,
Commander, stop doing that.
had to get one more of those in. I think this might be the last part of side quests before Noveria, which would mean it's the last part of side quests for the rest of the game.
Yay?
Yeah, because it's all main plot from here.
Which means every part after this is going to be balls out action. Huzzah. Well, balls out action and balls out conversation town fun times.
Those are two very different things.
Oh, man. Not as far as Mass Effect 2 is concerned. Mass Effect 2 seems to think conversation should play out like action sequences. Oh, man. Anyway, there are a lot of Krogans in this particular battle party. And Krogans, not only do they wield shotguns typically, but they have no compunctions against just walking around your cover very slowly and, and just engaging you at point-blank range.
Oh, hello.
Hi there. Krogan helmets are the derpiest fucking things ever, by the way.
Oh, Jesus. I love those
God.
ragdolls.
There's a sniper going after me while I'm fighting Krogans here.
I love how that guy's arm is not connected to his socket anymore.
Oh no!
Da-da-da-da. It's like everyone missed their cues for a Matrix shot. It's like, fuck it, just keep rolling the tapes.
Oh man.
Oh man. Let's just imagine if Neo had to dodge the bullets in the Matrix, but instead of just leaning backwards, he just went fucking get on Gary's mod and just went everywhere.
Oh man.
Oh fuck, my eyes are on fire.
Now I'm just sort of sitting here pointing my gun at the sniper, waiting for stasis to wear off, so that I can actually damage them. Good night.
So he was just standing there knowing you were going to shoot him.
I bet you're wondering how I got myself into this situation.
It freezes. Stasis basically freezes the target in position, and prevents anything from happening to them while they're in stasis. Because if you're freezing the target, you're also preventing anything from affecting them. So you have to wait until the stasis wears off to damage them. It's a crowd control measure, but in Mass Effects 2 and 3, the version of stasis they have there actually lets you shoot the stasis target to shorten their stasis duration, so you don't actually have to stand there waiting if they're the only target left.
I've come to reconsider the decisions that brought me to this point.
Of course, in Mass Effects 2 and 3, if you cast stasis on something, they also just flop to the ground when stasis ends, rather than...
Please say you use stasis a lot in 2.
Oh yeah, stasis is really useful in 2 and 3.
Hooray!
When they added that back in Lair of the Shadow Broker as a bonus skill for beating the DLC, I was over the moon. It's a great skill to have, no matter what class you're in. It's not broken either. It's actually pretty well balanced for what it is.
I almost saw that said Captain Wilhelm for a second.
Well, Captain Willem here has died. Why they kept him in the back corner of this room with his datapad in his hands, I don't know. Maybe he was being tortured for information or something.
Wipes the security tape and he just explodes doing the Wilhelm scream. Well, considering how everybody else is flying around in these rooms...
No, you see what happened was this. These pirates were looking for the perfect candidate to reenact the Wilhelm scream, because at some point in the past, every sound data file that contained the Wilhelm scream was destroyed by film buffs who hated the Wilhelm scream. So
you mean like every movie ever?
They needed to recreate it, and so they found Captain Willem. They figured his name was close enough; he might scream like Wilhelm, and they just sort of tried to make it happen, but it didn't. And then, well, he died before they could apologize. And this was all just a hideous misunderstanding. And then Shepard showed up and killed everyone.
Well, that's anticlimactic.
And then Shepard showed up and killed everyone is how every story in this universe ends.
Found your brother's
I bet it's how Andromeda's going to end 200 years later, and then Shepard showed up and killed everyone. In fact, that's actually viable if you choose the control ending.
When his ship dropped out of contact, I just knew. But I kept hoping he might still be alive.
Sorry, Gareth.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Sorry I took so long to find your brother. Maybe if I hadn't spent 6 months gallivanting
So is this
about
like
the
an
galaxy,
off-brand
something?
FTCR thing or something? Where you get Garoth instead of Gareth?
bootleg FTCR.
I don't even watch BrainScratch anyway.
Scatch MMS.
Yeah, they had... Yeah, what hacks?
Oh man, that typo still makes me laugh.
Hello again, Commander.
That cut off with the artwork. Oh man.
How will they screw it up this year?
You know, maybe they just won't, which would be nice for a change of pace.
Anyway, this I could have done earlier, but after you help Emily Wong the first time, you can find her just sort of hanging out in the Citadel here.
Why are you just standing here?
She asks you to do something potentially unethical here, so you will totally be justified in telling her to fuck off here. But she wants you to put monitoring devices in the traffic control tower, so that she can prove that traffic controllers are overworked.
Are we in Rex's head?
Yeah. It's empty. It's so empty. You have redundant hearts, redundant testicles, redundant lungs. Ain't got no redundant brain.
Everyone knows space traffic controllers are overworked. How is this news?
Everyone knows space traffic controllers are overworked. Man, next thing you know, she's gonna ask me to help her prove that Donald Trump is an asshole.
We already have several last-minute wave
Nice probe droid, Shepard.
Do we have to wait for a full-blown disaster?
If you crack this,
Oh, I probe lots of things.
You know, when I said that I wanted to know what was going on inside of Rex's head, I didn't mean it so literally.
The council is calling for improvements voluntarily. This story will
Oh,
provide
man.
that pressure.
Emily Wong was supposed to have a part in Mass Effect 3. They cut her out. She's just gone inexplicably. No one comments on her not being there either. Instead, we got fucking Jessica Chobot.
Thanks again for your
Oh, yeah.
long run. This story is going to save lives.
And it wasn't even the same part Jessica Chobot played. Jessica Chobot just sort of hangs out on the ship as a way to get some minor warpoint boosts and a potential romance interest thing going on there. Which is kind of creepy considering she's modeled after Jessica Chobot.
It's doing it again.
God damn it. Oh, man. But yeah, Emily Wong just sort of drops off the face of the planet after 2 games of fucking setup to get her a place in the story, which is really disappointing. You don't actually talk to Emily Wong in Mass Effect 2. You see her on a television screen. Apparently, with or without your help, her career has gone, well, it's gone pretty well over the intervening 2 years.
Good for her, I guess.
Yeah. Then I guess she just died between games or something? I don't know.